we met at the Bridge Street Bicycle Co-op,
Yeah,
where we both volunteer. I still remember it was on a fall day, and Margot had come in to fix her bike. I was volunteering that day, and I saw her from afar, and my heart jumped, and I was pretty nervous. And I saw just someone who was stunningly beautiful, and I avoided her like the plague the entire time until the final last 5 minutes before the shop was gonna close, and I just introduced myself. I bit the bullet and said hi.
But the next time we met at the BCBC, we had a longer chance to chat because you didn't avoid me. And we talked about your work and mine and our interests. And then I thought you were interesting. And then I conspired to give you my number.
And how did you do that?
Well, you were struggling to assemble a rack for some bike forks, and you had made a sign that said the forks.
I wasn't struggling that much.
A little bit, you weren't quite tall enough. And then the sign you made for the forks was really cute. So I had you pose beside the sign and I took a photo of you, and then I offered to send it to you, and I needed your number to do that. So that might have been on purpose.
That's pretty sly.
We're Cara's parents from Winnipeg, Steve and Anita.
I'm Steve.
I'm Anita. Steve and I have both been widowed and met at a grief support group in, what year was that, 1994, September?
1994 September. I thought it was a group advertised for sharp-dressed men, but I was fooled. But I went there. Anyway, these people walked in the door, and I saw Anita right away, and I thought, she looks interesting, and she had really nice legs. So I thought maybe I would kind of get to know her a little bit better. We had a discussion a little while later, after we were in the group for a little while, and there were 3 or 4 of us guys talking about the women that were there, and we were all kind of struck by Anita's class and just the way she looked. She was pretty stunning. So I just said to her very boldly, I think I'll marry her in September. They all laughed at me, but September came along, and sure enough, we were married.
We have known each other for 13 years, been together for 10 years, and been married for 7 years.
How did you two meet?
Oh, we met through the local Saskatoon music scene. We're both regular attendees and just kind of ran into each other.
And what did you do for your first date?
Oh, we went to the Colonial and sang some karaoke.
Did you sing a song together?
No.
No.
Not together, but Smith and I sang Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive.
Smith was at most of your dates?
Yes. Smith was our companion, our third wheel for most of our relationship.
That's about right.
So we'd been dating about 4 months when we got pregnant. And
5 months. 5 months.
Okay. Yeah, 5 months. 5 months sounds way better than 4 months. So we ended up getting married about 6 months, exactly 6 months from the day that we met. And Sia didn't want a big wedding.
No, I just wanted something small. I said we should just go to City Hall, just us two, get married, have something really intimate. And then I took a nap.
Yeah, so he took a nap one day, and that was when my mom gave me this list of people that she wanted to invite to my wedding. I was like, well, why am I inviting all my mom's friends, and some of my friends aren't even going to be there? So I made a few calls, and the community really came together to throw us this amazing wedding. But of course, yeah, when he woke up from his nap, I was like, okay, we're getting married on Friday. This is when the ceremony is. This is where we're having the reception. You get 20 gifts. But it ended up being a blast. We had actually a toy shotgun there as a photo booth prop. And to top it all off is family matched the ceremony with another reception in Ontario a couple months later, and there was 350 guests. So poor Zia, who didn't want to get married in front of anybody, had 2 wedding receptions.
We met in university.
University of Saskatchewan, School of Physical Therapy.
We spent time together at the bike rack, bonded over music, being late for class, and pretty sweaty.
Yeah, especially the being sweaty and stinky part for school.
Matt caught my eye because he wore really short shorts and had a chiseled buttock.
I had pretty shapely legs.
On our first date, we went to the grocery store. Matt thought it was boring.
It wasn't very fun.
Maybe it was the smell of fresh tomatoes, but something seemed just right.
Back then, I used to run all the way across the city just to wake Rochelle up.
Yep, by jumping in the pool at my parents' house. Our first small grocery store outing turned into working together, traveling together, and then eventually moving to a small northern village. Now we're experts in marriage.
We've been married since the year 2017. And this is a very special part of our family.
Nippin'.
It'll be 48 years in January that we'll be married. And we knew each other a couple of years.
Likely more than 2.
2 to 3 years prior to that.
Exactly before.
Yeah. I think I was in grade 10, the latter part of grade 10 when we met. So, long time. I was rather intrigued. He had this kind of mysterious bad boy Buddy Holly look going on, and I kind of thought, interesting. And we started dating, I guess, after we met at Joy's place, and been together ever since, right?
Yep, still dating.
Still dating, yeah, right.
Likely where we went on our first date was the hangout back then was the A&W on 8th Street,
Yep.
so that would have more than likely
The
been
drive-in.
where we went.
Yeah, I would think so. And probably after hanging out there, we would likely went drag racing on 8th Street. That was the big thing too, picking up a couple of speeding tickets, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Jen and I met at a party of a mutual friend's. I was playing beer pong when she came in the room, and I knew I had to go talk to her.
So I was sitting, talking with my friends, and then everybody kind of got up to go do something. This was a bit later, and I stayed, and then it was just Josh, myself, and our mutual friend sitting there. And he introduced himself right away, and then kind of just took off from there. We kind of secluded ourselves and just talked for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I don't think either of us got up to grab another drink after that.
Yeah. And so then we hung out for like the rest of the weekend. Yeah, and I got Josh to try his very first vegan meal, and he liked it so much.
I think we had vegan for the rest of the weekend. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No meat, no dairy.
He was just trying to impress me. Mm-hmm.
It worked.
Yeah.
How did you meet?
Met on the internet.
Sort of.
At Dodgeball.
Yeah.
On Tinder.
Yeah. We knew of each other from Dodgeball, but then we actually started talking through the internet.
And what drew you to each other?
I liked his hair and his smile.
Lisa had a picture with her and a goat, and I thought it was fun, so I swiped the correct direction.
Thanks, little goat.
What's your favorite thing about the other person?
I like that Lisa's smart and pretty, and she makes more money than I do, which I think is nice.
He invited me to go to DDG, which I didn't know what that was. Turns out it was Duck Duck Goose. which I always thought was a little pretentious. And then he called it DGG. It's like, oh no, this is gonna be terrible. So we went there and we had a drink, and I kind of had I was on alert, thinking, okay, this guy might be the worst. But then he told me that he travels a lot for work and he always keeps a sled in his truck so that if he sees a big hill, he could just go down the big hill on his sled. From that point on, I knew that he wasn't pretentious, that he was just a big kid at heart. And that's why I love him.
We met at a party that I was having 4 years ago with my roommate, and it was a costume party, apocalypse themed. Everyone comes as they would at the end of the world. And my roommate had invited Ryan, who I had never met yet.
So I came dressed as a kind of your typical crazy prophet type person that you'd see in a movie, shouting out in the streets that the end is near, wearing a big sign.
He looked great. I was immediately impressed when he walked through the door. Somebody commits to a costume like that and they don't know anybody. That's pretty brave.
To be honest, I almost bailed on going to the party. I was really tired after coming home from work. But when my coworker Scott had convinced me to come, he's like, you should come to this party. And man, I'm very glad that I did.
Yeah, me too. And then about a year and a half later, I was moving out of my apartment and in with Ryan. And the very last thing we found after we moved the last piece of furniture was his sign from that night.
I told you so.
He did.